Hey YouTube, it is Desiree and I'm here with
Chris.
and we are going to talk about why did we get married, and who better to talk about marriage with than my lovely husband. This guy right here, this is my husband. We've been married since August 27th of 2016, and we are going to discuss on this beautiful Valentine's Day why we chose to get married. We're also going to talk about why some people don't get married, and we're going to talk about some negative reasons that people do get married. But these are not good reasons. These are not reasons that you should get married. Let's go ahead and start with us. So just to give you guys a little background, we met in 8th grade and we were in the same middle school. I was a latecomer and I came into class, and we were kind of in like the AP class or like the advanced class because we're super smart.
Yep.
Of course. And I walked in and he was there and we became friends, I guess, but he was kind of already dating a girl, and he broke up with her and started writing me love letters, and how could a girl like me resist? So we started dating and we had a passionate whirlwind romance until I broke up with him with like some thug that was also in our same grade. It was not a good decision. However, we broke up then. We rekindled the flame in 2015, and we've been going strong ever since. So that's kind of some background on us. So I'm going to let my husband go first. I did all that talking so he could think about why he got married overall and why you chose to get married to me.
Okay, so I got married overall because it is somewhat of a lost art, and also just wanted to reinstate the purpose of getting married. Didn't see a lot of marriages growing up, and I was in a single parent home, so marriage seemed to me like a good thing to do. I got married to my wife because I lost her the first time. So I thought that marrying or popping the question would help her stick around. Plus, I had been in a long relationship already. I didn't really want to be in another long relationship unless I was going in the marriage direction. So, once we reconnected, I thought it would be right to, it was one for a reason. And so I thought, what better thing to do than to marry my best friend?
Awesome. Well, I'm going to answer those same questions. The reason I chose marriage overall, I'll list a couple of reasons. The first reason being that I wanted to continue to walk in obedience to the inkling of the Holy Spirit and to God. I have really, prior to Chris, really started taking my relationship with God very seriously, and he very clearly told me that, this was my husband. So I wanted to walk in obedience to him, even if that meant throwing away my independent woman card and, doing everything by myself, and I got this, and, I'm straight, I'm good. Like, even if it meant doing all of that, I wanted to walk in obedience to Christ. Also, I felt like being married was the next step in my stretching and my growing. Even in my relationship with God, I was learning to be devoted to him as well as being devoted to my husband at the same time. So it was just walking in continued obedience, and also walking and continuing to grow and stretch. Now, why I chose to say yes to Chris's proposal is because of a lot of things. When I started to think about what I wanted in a marriage, or what marriage was ordained to be, I wanted to make sure that I got somebody that was going to continue to hold me accountable and continue to push me closer to Christ and continue to pray over me and wash me with the water of the word and continue to do all of those things. And he does that for me. He did that for me even when we were dating. He always held me accountable. If I tell Chris I got a dream or a vision or a purpose, he's like writing it out. This is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to get it done. Another reason that I chose to say yes to Chris's proposal is because he has been my mirror. He shows me those areas within myself that need continued growth, those areas within myself that I didn't even realize might have been insecurities. He points those things out with grace, and he helps me to grow in those areas, therefore preparing me for my greater purpose and helping me to be a better wife to him, which I hope he thinks that I'm being
Of course, she's
a good
great.
wife. So that's why I chose Chris, and that's why I chose to get married overall. So now that you guys have heard our reasons, we are going to talk about some reasons that we've heard out there that are not good reasons why you should get married. But these are reasons
Like that.
that people are getting married. So, baby, I'm going to let you go first. What is some bad reasons people be trying to get married these days?
As you just heard, our son here leads me to the first one, which is children or children coming soon. People get married because they get pregnant or they have a child with someone, and so, maybe religious reasons as well in that, people will go ahead and tie the knot, which is not a good foundational reason to get married.
I agree, babe. I agree. Because if it's only the obligation of the child that's holding you together, it's very unlikely that your marriage will be able to sustain once the child goes to college or even through the trials and tribulations of raising a child. So definitely not a good foundational reason. Okay, I have one.
Okay.
Some people are getting married for financial stability. What?
Which doesn't make sense.
Where they do that
They're
at?
gonna spend $1 million on the wedding, but
Here's my take on getting married for financial stability. Number one, the first greatest reason for divorce in America is finances. People who don't know how to combine their finances, or who aren't upfront about the debts that they bring in, or people who go in with one expectation financially and those expectations aren't met. Whatever the case may be, with the pressure of finances being placed on marriage, that's not a good reason to jump the broom or tie the knot. It's not a good reason. You should be secure financially within yourself before you decide to bring in another person. And when I say secure financially, I don't mean that you have to have a certain amount of money. I just mean that you have to have learned to be content with little and learn to be content with a lot. That's in the Bible. It's somewhere. I promise it's in there. But you have to have learned to be content regardless before you bring in another person and start making these financial demands on them. No career out here is completely stable. Even if you marry a doctor, he can get a malpractice suit, and then before you know it, he's not a doctor anymore, and y'all are eating ramen noodles and egg sandwiches. So you just have to be at a place where financial security is not the only thing that's tying you to that person, because finances are going to fluctuate as time goes on.
that's true.
Okay.
And the last reason I have of people and why they get married for the wrong reason is age. See my 56-year-old hairline. Ages bring pressure, and also family will bring pressure. So age and pressure a little bit together. But a lot of people will rush into it because they get to a certain age and they feel like, well, I need to be married by 30. I need to be having a baby by 31. I need to have the PhD by 35, or whatever. And so a lot of that brings pressure, which forces people to jump into situations they probably should not.
I agree, babe. People are trying to force their timelines when your timeline should not be the ultimate decision maker. You should be trying to align yourself with God's timeline for you. If I had it my way, I was set to be married in my mind by like 24 and then, or 23, somewhere around there, because I was going to graduate from college and immediately jump the broom, get married. And I don't know who I was going to be marrying at this time. It did not matter. I had a timeline, right? And once I traded in my timeline for God's timeline, I was able to be patient and allow this king into my life. Another reason that people get married that's not a good reason has a lot to do with the honeymoon phase. the butterflies in your stomach that you get when you see him and y'all only been dating for 2 weeks and you can't get enough of him and this is your husband, girl. If I married every person I got butterflies for, I'd be 36 times divorced. You cannot get married solely based off of the butterflies in your stomach that you feel during the honeymoon phase. I do believe that passion and that infatuation has to somehow maintain itself, and you should keep that spark alive as much as possible. But it's unrealistic to go into a marriage thinking that you're gonna feel the same way about Tom that you felt on y'all's first date, every single day, every single moment. No, there are going to be trials and tribulations, and you have to have something a bit more substantial than butterflies in order to maintain a marriage. So don't jump the broom solely based off the butterflies that you feel during the honeymoon stage. We are going to go on to our final list, which is reasons why some people choose not to get married. I know that you guys believe like if somebody isn't married, it's just because nobody wants them. But some people actually make the choice to not get married, and we're going to talk about some reasons why.
I would say the first reason is career.
Career, if anybody is having problems hearing what he's saying.
Career. Career. Your job. No, but some people get, they may have their PhD, the master's, whatever, and they're pursuing to become that executive or the CFO or CEO or COO or top doctor, whatever, and they don't want anyone to come in and distract them. So a lot of people, based on their work becomes that marriage. They work hard, they get something from that, which nothing is wrong with that. But that is a reason I think some people probably won't, get married.
Awesome. I have heard that reason before, especially with men. Sometimes I hear like, I'm not gonna get married at least until I make 6 figures, or at least until I got this degree, or things like that. They feel like they haven't made it until they have these things, and that's when they'll start even considering marriage. Another reason that I have heard that people don't get married has a lot to do with their background, which is maybe they've never seen a successful marriage, or their parents got divorced, or maybe their parents have always been together but they've never been married. So they feel like they don't have the tools necessarily to sustain a marriage, or they have never seen a healthy marriage, so they are afraid of what goes along with marriage. So I think that is a reason sometimes people choose not to get married, is just because of their background, and they don't know if they have what it takes to maintain a marriage.
Which I guess leads me to, it's a mixture of all of them. My next one, which is fear. Some people don't, because of what you said, that background or the money or just the pressure of feeling like they have to share their lives with another person. They don't want to mess up someone else's life. I know I had thoughts like that. So fear can paralyze you in such a way where you never pursue it. Even if you have the right person in front of you or whatever, you won't, because you're thinking like, well, I don't make enough money, as you said earlier, or I gotta get here first. I need to move to this place, or I don't want to hurt nobody. I ain't complete yet. There's a lot of different reasons.
And I am going to tie it all up with one final reason, which I think encompasses everything that we've been talking about, which is the loss of the value of marriage. I think a lot of people aren't getting married because they don't believe in the value of marriage anymore. A lot of people are getting divorced. The divorce rate is continuing to skyrocket, and I think people just aren't taking marriage seriously. But we are here to hopefully inspire and encourage you guys to pursue marriage, and not only to get married but to stay married, because marriage was designed by God not only to bring him glory, but it was something that he gave us so that we could benefit from as well. So you sure know how to be extra, don't you? so that we can benefit from it as well. I want you guys to not be afraid, not be fearful, not worry about not having the tools, because I can attest to whenever you feel like you fall short in marriage, God comes in and he's your strength and he can make up for what you lack. So I hope this video was encouraging and inspirational to you guys. I hope you learned something from Team Thompson, and we're going to see you guys in our next video. Y'all have a good night.
Make a marriage great.
Again, sorry. Babe, I didn't think you were going to really do it.
I just want to say, make marriage great again. I'm out.